All right, this is Chris Stupp, director of the Music Lab. I'm sitting here with bass player Christian McBride. Christian, how do you mic up your bass, or what's the ways that you find you get the best sound out of your bass in the recording studio?
I only use a microphone in the recording studio. I've had an opportunity to work with some really, really great engineers through the years. I find that engineers treat their microphones much like musicians treat their instruments. They are the same thing. However, one thing that's always been very, very consistent is that almost every engineer I've ever worked with realizes that the best sound possible from the acoustic bass is the natural sound, to capture the wood, to capture that organic feeling from the instrument. Generally, it would be a large membrane microphone like a 47 or something like that, and it usually gets put somewhere, like usually directly in front of the bridge, or just a little bit to the right of the bridge, like between the bridge and the F-hole, just to get that air coming out of the F-hole. Not directly on it, because you don't want to get like that puff sound. You want to be able to get the wood of the instrument. You also want to capture some of the sound of the fingers coming off of the fingerboard. Just like there's a nice sweet spot in between that bridge and the F-hole, maybe an inch or two above or an inch or two below. Got to toy around with it.
And then about how far off of the bass is it sitting?
Usually about a good 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches.
So it's pretty close.
It's pretty close, but not directly on it.
Right. Okay.
Live performances might be a little different, but in the recording studio, obviously depending on the situation, if you're playing acoustic bass with like more of a big volume kind of band, you might want to have it a little closer to the instrument, and you might want to shadow it with a little bit of DI, just a little bit. But one thing I've always encouraged a lot of engineers who aren't used to recording the acoustic bass, their knee-jerk reaction right away is to plug in the DI. For two reasons. One, it's easier to control, but it doesn't always necessarily get the best sound. And two, a lot of acoustic bass players can't project their sounds where a microphone would actually do them justice. So it needs to be a meeting in the middle. You young bass players, develop your sound on your instrument. Don't play the bass like this. You know, play it with some guts. You know, not strings, just guts. I mean, and engineers, you know, do what you can to capture the best sound possible of the instrument itself. Don't plug in the DI and be like, he's got a DI, great, I don't have to worry about it. Because they don't do that with acoustic guitars, you know. So don't do it with an acoustic bass. With acoustic guitars, you always see the microphone first, like a little condenser mic stuck right over the instrument. Do the same thing with an acoustic bass, you know, because they're both beautiful instruments with just the wood.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.